library. And in today's Tuesday Crafternoon, I would like to show you how you can make a hand-stitched snowflake card for the holiday season. Now we will be doing these as take and make kits available at the beginning of November, so you are welcome to register for one of those to pick them up here at the reference desk. But in the meantime, I'm going to show you how you put it together. So what you need for this is going to be cardstock, and this comes from your standard 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock cut in half across the middle. I've already punched the holes in it, but I do have a pattern for it, which is included in the take and make kit. You will need an awl or a needle to poke the holes in it, and I've also found it helps to have a piece of scrap cardboard to slide under the pattern so that you're not damaging your tabletop. You will need tape and scissors. You'll need needle and embroidery floss, and I like to use a pale blue and a white for this. What I tend to do is I'll use the pale blue for like the veins coming out to the points, but also this inner 6-point star. It just adds a nice little bit of contrast and a little extra pop to this pretty snowflake. So, with all of that, let's get started. So what I'm going to start with on this snowflake is these lines that go up the middle of the large points, as well as these star points in between the lacy white snowflake part. So for that, I'm using the light blue embroidery floss, and I'm going to start at one of these center holes. So I'll flip this over. Go ahead and work that through one of the center holes. And remember, in doing these hand-stitched cards, we do not knot the ends of the embroidery floss. We leave it flat and then tape down the ends so that we're not adding extra bulk to the back of these cards. All right, so I've come up, and what I'm going to do first is go out to this side point, then work my way up this vein, come back down, go to the next side point, and then I'm going on to the next point of the snowflake. So we'll do this inner point first. So I start at the middle, go to this hole, which is right in the notch between the two larger points. And then I'm going to come up this outer hole, and come back down to the second hole in this central vein. And then I'm going to come back up the center hole again. And now I'm just going to go one by one up that center vein. So to do that, it's sort of like making a dotted line going up, and then we'll fill it in on the way back. So it's up one hole, down the next, up one hole, down the next, all the way up. And there is a big gap between these last two holes, and that's fine. So we're going to jump to that last one, come down, and then I'll come back up here. Okay, so that finishes our central vein. And I like to just kind of go through and try and straighten it out. It's a little tough. It's going to be a little bit zigzaggy there, just the way you come up and go back down repeatedly through the same holes. It's okay. Most people aren't going to look that closely at your pattern to pick it apart. But I'm just letting you know in case you wonder why that's happening. All right, so I came back up that center hole again, and I'm going to go up to work on this next inner point. So that dot at the notch between the two big points. Come up that outer hole. Okay, so that's what it's going to look like with the light blue as you go around. I'll show you jumping onto the next one, and we'll keep going. So we'll move over to the next hole in the middle. And we finish that point. Back to the middle. And we'll start going up this vein. Now, if you're wondering, I am using 3 strands of floss in this. It seems to work pretty well in this pattern, giving it just enough thickness in the lines, but remaining a delicate enough pattern so that you feel like you've got a really nice lacy snowflake. And then back to the center. On to the next point. Over to the next center dot. So I'll keep going and finish this on my own, and I'll come back and show you how we fill in with the white. Okay, so I've got the inner part of the snowflake done with the light blue floss. Now what I need to do is add the white and make it look lacy going out to these points. So I've got my needle threaded, and what we're going to do is actually start above where this gap comes in with the light blue. So we're going to go to the hole above it to start. So that would be if you count the center hole, it's the 3rd hole up. And it's a little tricky to find when you've already got a bunch of stitching back here, but we can do this. So we'll pull that through and hold the tail down, and then tape it down. Okay, and so to get a closer look, you can see what we've got are diagonal lines going out to either side and then straight lines coming across. So I'm going to start with the diagonals first, and I'm going to go up one side, come down the other, and then I'll work my way up to do those lines to cross them before I move on to the next point. So the way that looks is from this hole along the center line out to this first hole on the point, and then I'm just going to kind of zigzag my way up. So I'll do the next hole up on the outside, come back to that center line on the inside. Next hole up on that center line, over to the next hole up on the outside, up to the next hole on the outside, down to the next hole on the center line. And you can see where I'm going with this. It's just back and forth, one hole at a time. And then when we get to the top, what I'm going to do is a diamond around these 4 top holes. But I'm going to go every other hole. So I'm not going to try and fill it in as I go. I'll do this one diagonal, come up to the top hole, do this diagonal, and then I'm going to come back to this hole and reverse my way around. It's just the little workaround that I've figured out for myself. You do it how you want to do it, whatever works for you. Okay, and then I'm going to come back down to this hole and start my way back out. And we'll do the same thing, one hole at a time, either on the outside or the inside, just to get those diagonals in. Now, you know, as you try this at home, if you find a way that works better for you, that makes more sense to you, for however you want to stitch, that's great. You go ahead and do what works for you. This is how I've worked it out for myself, how it makes it a little bit easier for me to explain to other people. But if it doesn't work for you, that's fine. Use your own way of doing things. All right, we've got all the diagonals in, and now what I want to do are the lines that cross over. Now, might be a little hard to see here, but on these bigger triangles, we're actually coming from the outside to the center and the outside to the center instead of one big line going across until we get to this top one where it's so small and there isn't a center hole to duck into. If you find you'd rather just take them straight across that center line, you can do that too. Like I said, this is the way that I've found it works for me. As they say, your mileage may vary. So this time I'm coming up the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th hole and then going straight out to that hole at the edge of the point and going up to the next one, coming into that center hole again, up to the next hole if I can find it here, out to the edge, and up a hole. And again, this is the one where we go all the way across, and then I'll come down 1, into the middle, down 1, out to the side, down 1, and into the middle. And that's how we do the points with the white. And so then just repeat for the other 5 points. I won't try your patience by doing that all on screen today, but just so you know, that's how the finished one looks. It's very delicate and kind of sparkly looking. I really love these. Once I got started and figured out how to do them, I just went on a tear and made a whole bunch of these, and now I've probably got more than I know what to do with, but I just couldn't resist. So I hope you'll be able to register for one of our kits and pick them up, and maybe you will end up getting addicted to making these beautiful snowflakes to share with everyone this holiday season too. That's all there is to it. I mean, obviously you got to finish the rest of the points, but you've got the basic stitches now to work with. And you can register for these kits either through the library calendar of events on our website, or call us up at the reference department and we'll be happy to put your name on the list. In the meantime, I hope you will stay healthy, be kind, and get creative. Bye.